Hello friends, good evening. It's been a while that I haven't shot any video, so I thought I'll just shoot one and upload today. Um, so there has been a topic for quite some time which has been on my mind because I'm from this industry and a lot of people have been asking me, what do you do? Which industry do you work in? So I think it will be a great idea for people who do not understand what facility management is and they have no clue at all what is my role. And especially when I go to my village, all of them would ask, beta kya karte ho? And I think that's a very interesting question, and I really wonder how do I answer to them. So I thought I'll just shoot this video. The topic of today's video is basically what is facility management, what is this industry all about, what do we do in this, and how large is this industry, what is the scope in India, and all of that. So I'll just simplify this into three sections. One is that we'll first understand what this facility management is. The second section would be what all comes under facility management industry, and then third would be what is some of the stats about the industry in India especially, and what is the scope. So let's understand the first thing, which is what is this facility management. So it is no rocket science. Basically, um, you would typically think that okay, facility management is something like you will think that okay, you must be giving some facilities, but you don't know what facilities. So I'll help you understand. Whenever you can think of any infrastructure, whether it is a hotel or a corporate building or a manufacturing unit or a mall or a residential condominium or a let's say a manufacturing unit which is producing different products. So this is infrastructure. Now in this infrastructure you would wonder who will manage such a large facility, which is actually not their core area, because their core area, let's say for a mall, their core area is to set up multiple shops and sell the stuff that they are trying to sell during different outlets. They don't know how to manage their security for the mall, the cleaning for the mall, and overall maintenance and upkeep of the mall. So that's where this industry, which is facility management industry, comes into play. So any kind of infrastructure in India currently would require an organization who can help them upkeep that particular facility in terms of every kind of facility which is required under facility management contract. So let's say okay, let's go a little deep. Let's understand the moment you enter into a factory, so you would encounter a security guard, right? So right from that particular point, so you can imagine now that okay, if there was no security guard, how will somebody enter, how will this visitor management happen, how will the factory be secured? So the first and foremost thing which comes to your mind is that okay, you would require security services for any kind of facility. So this is one part of it. The moment you enter, you will get into a reception, so you will find a lady or a person who is actually handling the reception area. So that's also something which comes under facility management. Then you will get into either the floor or you will go to a admin block. So you will see that okay, the guy who is going to come serve you water or tea is supposed to be under facility management, because that's not the factory's core area, right? So they will require the facility management company to help them with this particular services as well. So the pantry, we spoke about the security, then we spoke about the reception thing, and then you will have a lot of common areas. You will have shop floor, you will have washrooms, you will have cafeteria, you will have restaurant, you will have some R&D center in that particular factory. All of that would require now primarily 3 to 4 teams. First is going to be the cleaning crew, who will ensure that cleaning happens at a regular interval, and it is upkept well, and there is no issue in terms of cleaning and hygiene is concerned. So that's also something which is facility management. Now the next thing is, who would ensure that lights are on or switched off, AC is working, not working, DG is working, not working, for required power in the factory, and plumbing issues, STP, if at all there is an STP, sewage treatment plant. Similar to that, boiler, a lot of such functions would be there required for the particular manufacturing unit. So all of that, which is actually called maintenance and engineering team, or you would have multi-skilled technicians, you will have plumbers, you will have DG operators, you will have BMS operators, you will have engineers. All of that is one more section to it. And then third section would be your casual staff or temporary staff who are actually producing either the boxes or helping them with packaging or loading, unloading, or even the main product which is getting prepared or made or produced. The particular employer, the factory owners, might not get into a employment of these people, so they might outsource that as well. So that is something called PSS, which is your production support staff. So, or maybe you can call that as payroll management, or you can call them as temporary staffing. So all that is also part of facility management. And then the last thing would be, in fact not last, second last would be your overall security of the premises. So that becomes, now security can be of two nature. One is technology driven, and the second thing can be a manual security. So that is also facility management. The last thing would be any services which are not covered under these four sections would come under, like you can have your food vendor. That is also bit of a facility management. While this is not a typically facility management, but this is also something which is a non-core activity for the factory. So they will outsource the food also. So that also more or less comes under facility management. So all of this put together is required by a client. Now this client can be across different segments. As I said, they can be a hospital, they can be a residential condominium, they can be a corporate building, ITs, warehouse, mall, manufacturing unit, or so on and so forth. So all of them require this kind of service to be managed, and that's where the facility management companies come into play. Now we've understood what this facility management is. Now we will further go deep as to what all services, right? While we understand the overall job description and all that, now entire facility management services are put under two buckets. One is hard services, and the second one is soft services. So hard services, you will have your security coming into it, your engineering team coming into it, and then rest of it, which is to do with your cleaning, horticulture, your facade, your payroll, production support, your even overall housekeeping and hygiene management. All of that will come under your soft services. So this is what the facility management function is all about. Now we spoke about what kind of we will speak about what kind of contracts are there, how do we get into a contract with the customers. So generally what happens is that typically there'll be three different kinds of contract models. One is going to be, there'll be a fixed price per person per category plus management fee. So this management fee can vary from let's say since competition is there now, starting from 5% to somewhere around 13 to 14%, depending upon the size and the ticket and the client requirement. It may vary from 5 to 12 to 13% of the management fee on the cost that is going to be arrived on a manpower cost. So this is one model for facility management contract. The other model would be per square feet model. This is nothing but the total square feet area for the particular property and the total cost, and then you convert that into a per square feet model. So that's how client would prefer to have per square feet model. The third model is basically client would not be interested in how many people do you deploy, what material do you use, what machines do you use and engage. They are completely bothered about the outcome of the contract. So they will define certain KPIs, key performance indicators. They will define certain SLAs, service level agreements. They will define frequencies of cleaning and what all is required. So that is called output driven contract, or an SLA contract, or a fixed billing contract. So these are primarily three kinds of contracts India would have as on today prevailing in the industry. Now typically these contracts would be in the range of 1 to 3 years. Very standard is going to be 2 years. and recently, because clients have a lot of options to choose from, they would rather go for 1 year and 1+2, and basis the performance of the facility management company, they will renew it further. So that's how it works. Now we spoke about we spoke about what this facility management industry is all about. Then we understood what all comes under it, what kind of how contract is drafted, how typically it works. And so generally, majority of the portion would be your manpower cost. Then in case of a housekeeping contract, you will have machines which are supposed to be used for cleaning the premises. So you will have different machines, such as you will have you must have seen ride-on ride-on scrubbers or ride-on sweepers on large airports, right? So you will have machines of every kind, not just the scrubbing machine, but also your vacuum machine, jet pressure. You will have steam cleaner. You will have ringer trolleys, all of that, mopping machines, mopping scooters, so all of that. So machines. Then you will have manpower, which is primarily on minimum wage category, because these are all hand to mouth people and they typically work on a minimum wage category. And you will have only 5% which are not devised on minimum wages. Otherwise 95% to 97% people are going to be on minimum wages. So every state has a defined minimum wage, and all these people are supposed to be hired on these rates. So you will have manpower, then you will have machines, and then the third thing is going to be your material. So now material can be of two kinds. One is that every facility would require toiletries, paper products, you will have garbage bags, you will have hand towels, you will have C-fold, you will have toilet roll, all of that, hand wash, room fresheners, all of that. So that is all called toiletries. And then you will have cleaning chemicals required, consumables required, such as in typically in domestic houses you will see choline or some multi-purpose cleaner, right? Similar to that, in this industry you will have very specific products being used. Like something would be used for a wooden flooring, something will be used for a hard floor, something would be used for a kota stone, and so on and so forth. So you will have material, machines, and manpower, and then all this is bundled with certain defined processes, standard operating procedures, which are called SOPs. Then every staff will have JDs defined for their role that they are supposed to deliver. So all this is bundled in a contract. Certain outcome indicators are defined in the agreement, and you will have this contract which is designed for an year, and every month there will be a review between the service partner and the client, based on the performance that they have delivered during the month. They can be certain highlights, they can be certain lowlights. So typically they are reviewed through a monthly management report, which is called MMR. And then there's another frequency which is QBR, which is a quarterly business review. So this is how typically these contracts are governed and run, and basis their performance on a yearly basis, these contracts are either terminated or renewed. And that's where this contract is kept for typically 1 year, and then every year it gets renewed. There are certain contracts where clients would want to have certain cost optimization, so they would rather give it a 3 years contract and keep the cost intact, the management fee intact. So this is how it is typically worked. Now the third section that I spoke about is that what is the scope in facility management, in India for facility management. So you would be amazed to look at some of the stats. You would have at least in fact organized players, you would have at least 10,000 odd facility management companies in India. But if I have to cover only big ones, you will have about 500 odd organizations in India, and then you will have rest of it which are unorganized players, regional players. You will have some players only working in Kolkata, some players only working in Baddi, some players only working in, let's say, Mysore. So you will have these regional players. If you want to talk about the large organized national players, you will have typically 300 to 500 such organizations who are primarily capturing the Indian market. And then this industry, facility management industry, has been growing at a 11.8% CAGR, which is actually nothing but a overall annual growth. You and me will have a yearly increment. So that is, for us, it is an annual increment, which is actually an annual growth. Similarly, for this whole industry, you will have a rate which is called CAGR, and this industry has been growing at 11.8% year on year, and it's a this industry contributes to 3.2% of Indian GDP. Okay, so you can imagine, this is no more a small industry. Many of us would not know this industry because we don't deal with it, but somebody who is already working in this industry can understand how large this industry is, how lucrative this industry is. And this industry is going to be currently this industry is worth 40 billion at $40 billion, and then it is supposed to grow to $120 billion by 2030. And as on today, Indian facility management industry has been only able to tap or cover only 25% of the surveyable facility management clients. So we still have 75% which is yet to be covered by facility management industry in India. So you can imagine how large, how big, and there's so much of potential in this industry. So I hope this video helps you understand what this facility management is all about. If you have any further questions, you can contact me through LinkedIn or YouTube, or you can search me on Facebook as well, and we can discuss more about it if you want to understand what this facility management is in more detail. But I hope at least this 15 minutes video will be able to help you understand what this facility management industry is all about, and how it works. Thank you so much for your patience. Jai Hind.